Cool. All right. Let's get you sorted out. Mr. Luminous. How are you liking it? What's going on?
It's good. I am back after almost 5 years. It's like I quit or I stopped playing when how do you pronounce it? Is it Lacaline, Latulin,
Whatever you want. Yeah.
that is. I quit like when that was released soon after, and Luminous got changed like at release of Reboot. It was completely different. You just had one mode, and then you would switch, and it was good for like farming if you wanted to stay in light mode, but it was really bad for bossing.
Yep.
So it got changed to the KMS, and I like it a lot. I like the change to KMS. It's a lot better. The only gripe I have with it is that teleport, the vertical range of teleport originally was like 640 range or something, and now it's 320, so I got like half. So it's kind of, but I have rope lift, so. But yeah, that's like the only thing that I don't like.
Yeah, rope lift
way better.
And equilibrium jump up.
Yeah,
okay,
when I'm in equilibrium, my TP is really strong. Obviously, it's like the best.
But outside is yikes.
Yeah. It's honestly it's a much better class now with like all the 5th job skills. All the new ones. The only one that I had last time I played was the gate.
Yep.
So all the like the baptism and whatever they're called, liberation orb, those are really sick for bossing.
Yeah, mobbing the orbs. Yeah, like the passive effect for orb is nice, right? When you're mobbing.
Yeah, the passive one. Yeah. I leveled that one after my gate so that the passive would like one shot as well. But yeah, I like Luminous a lot. It's sometimes I'll be like not so happy with it, I guess, kind of, and then I'll play another class like leveling it for Legion, and then I'll go back to Lumi and it'll feel like a refresh. Like I'm actually glad to play Lumi because it's strong. In a lot of ways.
Like the grass is greener in the other meadow syndrome is very possible, especially when you have 50 classes. You're like, you kind of after a while you kind of start to exaggerate the faults that your class has and taking for granted the benefits that you have, and then sometimes being like, okay, this other character is way better, and then you play it and you're like, okay, it's better at these 2 or 3 things that I don't like about Lumi, but all the other stuff I like Lumi way better. So then you just go running back.
Yeah, exactly.
And you realize
I was playing Hoyoung, and the class is so mobile, and I didn't even know they had a flight skill until I was like 140 already, and then apparently they have flight, so I went back and did all the quests and got flight, and it was even more mobile than I thought. So but day and night difference
on the mobility there with those two.
Right.
But then the main difference, I think, between the two, well, it depends on the situation, but like the complexity of the character, probably find that in some situations they can be both very simple, but the extreme between the simplicity and the complexity can be pretty big. In that sense, I think they both have.
Yeah, I really like that Hoyoung is. Well, I mean, it's like decently complex, I guess. Once you figure it out, it's not that bad, but like juggling all the butterflies and your clones and stuff is cool. I like that.
Yeah, once you get that tonic, that really helps you move through all the skills way better.
The tonic made everything way easier.
Yeah, and just like with the Lumi, like practice makes perfect. When you're talking about the KMS changes and stuff, you're talking about everything up to now, right? Like not like the extra stuff that's coming to Lumi.
Oh yeah, I'm not even sure what's happening to Lumi. I think their attack speed's getting buffed or something, which sounds really crazy because I feel like Lumi's already really strong. But
yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff changing with it. Is the current attack speed? That is not what I was trying to do. The current attack speed is in oh, because I was typing attack speed and invulnerability at the same time. That makes sense. The current attack speed hits 0.
Oh, do you?
Or do you guys? Oh no, you guys hit 1.
I know.
Right?
I always use like green pot and decent infusion.
Yeah, with everything you still hit 1 by the looks of it.
Yeah, I was doing stuff with my friend who's a Kana, and he used domain, and it brought me to 0, and it was just like crazy how fast I was spamming Ender.
Yeah, so if that changes the if that changes the attack speed, then that would be a nice change for you, right?
That would be so nice. I had before when I came back, I had 50 buff duration, and I was using circulators just like to see if I could get. It's like very expensive apparently to get 38 buff on the second line. It's like 24 bill or something on average, which sounds extremely high, but I guess so. And I was like saying maybe if I get that, and I landed on +1 attack speed pretty quickly, so I just stuck with it. And then I used like a tiny bit of honor, and I got 15 crit, which is like okay. I mean, it's not like I won't keep that for super late game, but it's really nice for now because let me shift my, what are they called, hyper points over to, like, I had a bunch in that. I wasn't sure what to put them in once I got the crit line.
Yeah.
I put them into like magic attack, which I don't think is super efficient, but I wasn't sure what else. Like I could level up damage higher or boss damage.
Yeah, you're probably by that turning point when you start making the decisions of going past 10 and maybe past 11 and that kind of stuff. It gets very expensive, of course. If you do have enough to go to 11 or 12, that's probably more efficient than going too high in the attack and in the and then possibly into the int. But if you're like going past 12 or something, then typically you start looking back at attack power and intellect to like throw in there before you get to 13 and stuff, because then it gets really, really expensive. That's usually after you reach level 250, 255, 260 or something that you get more into into those crazy high numbers. And you basically never go past 13 until you're like past level 275, or you know, you're doing it for the training setup, right? And then you go 15 on bonus experience, and then you just fill out enough crit and then crit damage and flat damage, and so then you can basically reallocate all the IED and the boss damage when you're mobbing. Yeah, so some of the stuff that's changing, and that's probably why you will get even more crit. I don't know how aligned are you now on your crit, since we are on the topic, in your link skills. How much is coming from there?
Let's see. What's my? I think I have Phantom, I have Beast Tamer, and I think that's it.
Yeah, and a little bit in your Legion board, right?
A little bit in the Legion board, yeah. And I think I'm with the current Legion setup. That one, it's 85 with the current Lunatide, which is like what was recommended by the Lumi Discord, is to be, because it's like your one ability, I forget what it's called, Baptism maybe, it gets 15% additional crit, so that's 100%, and then like essentially all your spells are 100% crit, except the only ones that wouldn't be Apocalypse and Reflection, so, and those aren't super important, so having those at 85 is like fine.
Okay.
So that's what I did. That's with Sharp Eyes.
Yeah, otherwise you have to make sure you're always at 100, and then when the tide hits, then you're at like 115 or 120 or whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you do have like 15 crit secondary, yeah, like eventually that buff duration is more important.
Yeah. I plan on doing that, like, I don't know. Well, obviously during a half-off honor thing, and then hopefully I have a lot stored up and just try to get it. I think even if I got just like any unique buff duration line, I'd be fine with that. I don't really care about like min-maxing getting 38%. I mean, maybe it's worth it to reroll with circulators again first and try to get 38 buff. I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't seem like I would care that much, like, because with the way a lot of the boss like attack patterns are, you don't really get the most value out of having buff duration anyway, because like they'll be in the air while you're in equilibrium anyway. So I don't know. That's just like my thought process.
Yeah, I think the main thing is
the same.
Yeah. The other thing is also, since you do have the crit inner ability, you could also put it in the other way that since you get a lot of crit in your inner ability, and the crit is also changing for Lumi in the future, you could also use that to your advantage to not have any kind of Legion points in critical rate whatsoever. And if you do have enough ID, to maybe prioritize buff duration in your Legion board over needing any kind of crit there, and then you can get your buff duration that way if you already have the inner ability going anyway. Because like you did mention before, it can be extremely expensive to roll that buff duration line, and like from an efficiency standpoint, it would be like to circulate first to try to hit like that 38, and then if you hit that, lock it and try to get your attack speed back. And getting the attack speed back would probably, you know, if you want to make sure that you can get that, there's a bunch of changes on the way from KMS. but you probably still want to make sure that you're like over 1 million, maybe up to like 2 million honor experience to make sure you can get that back and get something nice on a third line. So until you're in that situation, I don't think there's any kind of pressure that you need to go hard on your buff duration or that you need to go hard on circulators. Right. If you want to, you can always be like, okay, I'm going to spend 2 bill on circulators this event, or I'm going to spend... But usually I would do that on a day when there's also 50% off to make sure that you can at least roll and try to get your attack speed back in case you hit it. Yeah. But because there's incremental changes for invulnerability on the way, and you have a good one now, I would say wait like 6 months to maybe a year if there's more stuff in KMS coming before you really readdress the invulnerability, because this one is definitely fine enough to sit on.
That was my thought process too, so it's good to reinforce.
Yeah. So we can go. We can quickly kind of go over the stuff that's changing for Lumi, so that we have that in the back of our heads, and that you are also aware of that when it comes to like mid and long-term planning.
Yeah.
So good. Currently we're like behind a lot on KMS updates, and we're not quite sure when those things are coming. But I think there's a from past experiences, projection for the future seems that they're clustering a lot of these things. So there could be a lot of stuff coming together. So one thing here is when Luminous Baptism of Light and Darkness is not on cooldown, they can no longer acquire the maximum number of ritual swords when absolute kill hits an enemy. Is not on cooldown? Okay.
Does that mean that... That sounds nice, I think, right? It makes it so... I'm trying to... An absolute kill. Does that mean that if you're like at 11, then it won't, like... You can use it back to back?
Absolute kill is Ender, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
When Ender kills an enemy,
Oh, absolute kill is Ender. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense then. Because maximum, it's like, if you're at 11 and then you go to 12, it'll reset the cooldown. So if you have 11 and then you Ender, but you don't, it'll like waste a charge of...
Yeah, it'll waste a charge, yeah, so it doesn't do that anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that.
Yeah. So that one should have been there like June. We're like almost October, okay. So we don't quite know why that hasn't gone through yet. I can just Control F with Luminous, I guess, and see what we've got here. An issue where punishing Resonator, I don't know what skill that is, in Equilibrium mode where it did not deal damage to Sakum. Liberation Orb, but the Darkness passive effect sometimes did not deal damage. Okay.
Interesting.
Apparently that was a thing. Yeah, so these are the big ones. Spell Mastery. So they're for life title, the title thing. They removed the damage and the critical rate things completely, and now it just heals you 2% of your HP and MP every few seconds based on which one is lower. But they added like I think slightly more than half of the effect of both as a passive to Spell Mastery instead. So increases 15% damage and 20% crit rate just all the time. So it is very possible that once this goes through, plus your invulnerability, that you just at that point have way too much crit. But again, because of your current situation, what this probably means is that you can just get completely divest from crit when it comes to your link skills instead, and then just go full damage there instead. So you still have a contingency plan, like divesting from the Legion board, divesting from the link skills, and then you still have ways of increasing your damage. So you can still put it to good use. Morning Starfall. Skill will no longer activate damage reflection. That's probably nice. Even though I don't think anyone uses it, but yeah.
Sometimes I would use it. Like when Vellum was about to come off, I would just throw it for just a tiny bit more damage. Probably doesn't even matter, but yeah.
Is it the one that pushes the monsters?
Yeah, and it does very little damage. Maybe if you put like boost nodes on it, it'd be okay. But then you're using boost nodes on it, so
yeah. But that would require to use boost nodes on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then Armageddon attack range changed from being based on the screen to being based on the character location. Attack range increased by 30%, which I think is not good, right?
I don't know.
If you want to use this as an iframe in a boss fight, you want it to not hit the boss to fuck up the bind on the
That's true.
So
yeah.
actually increasing the hitbox might be a negative, I think. If
Yeah,
you're soloing, it's fine, but if you're...
I've never actually killed any boss while in a group, so that's fine for me right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, you want to make sure that you use it like within that bossing cooldown, not accidentally fuck up the bind rotation for the whole party.
What's the... Is there... Obviously there's a diminishing return, or just it goes... Bosses can't be bound anymore once you bind them?
Yeah, so if a boss has been bound, it becomes bind immune for 90 seconds from the end of the bind duration.
Oh, okay.
There's some bypassing, but that's mainly only Zero who has some binds that bypass it. They can have some things that stack with it, but everyone else has to abide by those laws.
I see.
So that's on the way, and then... Wait, was that number 5? Wait, oh, there was one here. Fix an issue where skills that find and move to enemies could target unattackable enemies like Luminous Light Blink. Oh. Okay, that was probably a weird thing. Luminous Light Blink's monster finding range in the upwards and downwards direction has been increased by 150% when used in non-town maps. Okay.
Is that the like beginner job blink?
I think so. Yeah. You have like a blinky.
Yeah. I don't even have that bound because I have like no room, but maybe I should find it.
I think in situations in a boss fight where you're out of iframe and you're basically like 99% dead, some people use it as just like a Hail Mary. Because maybe it helps you, maybe you don't die, but yeah, it's like a last-ditch effort thing.
Maybe I bind it to like F6.
Yeah, whatever your pray to RNG's key is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the F. We're at the F keys now, basically. Yeah. That's what you get when you have so many good 5th job skills. You're
true. Yep.
You're stuck there. The actual blink skill is also changing at some point, so if you're opening those in the matrix, you want to hold on to those. Oh
yeah, I did. I learned about that from your stream, so I've been holding on to them.
Good, yeah. And then yeah, Luminar. What is this? Following screen effects will no longer block the boss monster's HP gauges. The Luminous Larkness alert. Isn't it darkness? Oh, whatever. So that's no longer gonna block the... Yeah, I don't know. Luminous Larkness. The alliteration there. So that's cool. And then the attack speed is also going to be on Spell Mastery. That skill is going to do a lot after the...
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So just a passive extra one. In KMS, it was mainly just to bring everyone on the same page, you know, to be able to balance all the classes more equally by giving everyone the ability to reach attack speed 2, which basically means for GMS that everyone who wasn't getting to 0 is getting to 0, and some characters that already were are going to be able to redo their inner abilities and stuff to get out of the attack speed +1 and get other stuff done instead. So there's going to be some inner ability shifts when this stuff hits GMS. But mostly it's for characters that couldn't hit 0 anyway. Like the Cannoneer, I believe the Blaze Wizard, and you guys Lumi, Angelic Buster, I think also Kinesis. I don't know, but I think most of these classes were kind of stuck on 1 anyway. So that helps. Oh, Kinesis is stuck on 4. Nice.
Wow.
Oh yeah, because it's spell shit. Yeah. It works a little bit different for some mages with the weapon speed and all that bullshit. Yeah, okay, so that's another one. I don't know if that's going to be part of like a next rework, if they do throw that in. Fix an issue where skills, attacks, ranges would change based on the direction the character was facing. I'm not sure. Luminous Morning Starfall apparently was a little bit wonky in that. And this is like further down the road. I don't think we're going to see these changes anytime soon, but it seems there's a buff to the Liberation Orb active effect somewhere down the road, and then some weird Starfall error bug fix, but nothing too crazy there. So the main thing is like the crit rate change, so as long as we keep that in mind, we can have everything else pretty clear, I think.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So with you coming back, what are the plans?
So I came back and I had never actually killed Seavel by myself, so I killed that because Flames were new. Also, Legion was new when I came back. So
yeah, a lot of stuff.
Legion and Flames like buffed my character by a lot. Like the flame power creep was crazy. So I killed Seavel. I got. Oh yeah, I also had a Sweetwater weapon. Sweetwater was impossible to get before, essentially, or it was just super RNG, and then they made it really easy to get.
Yep.
So I got a Sweetwater weapon. I killed Seville with it. I got the Fafnir weapon. I was literally going for like unique, and then it went to legendary almost instantly, and then it rolled that double magic attack boss like within 3 cubes. I was flabbergasted. I was like, it was annoying because I didn't even want it like on a Fafnir weapon, but I'll take it.
So annoying.
Then,
most people would throw it away just because how
annoying.
I
should extract it. Oh wait, that reminds me. I didn't know about Flame Advantage, and I didn't know that transposing Sweetwater Pendant was like the end game meta thing right now. So I came back the very first day. I got a Dominator Pendant, and then I extracted it because I didn't know it was good. And then I learned later that it's good, and I haven't seen another Dominator Pendant drop since. So, learned my lesson there. I thought about like submitting a ticket, but I don't know. Nexon customer support is not great, so I decided.
Yeah, it's hit or miss.
Whatever,
depends on who you get on there.
I'll just live with my mistake. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm a ways away from transposing Sweetwater Pendant anyway. So, what else? I did a lot of like learning about flames, so I know all about them now. But at first I was like, how do people have such insane flames on their items? Because I was like, look at my Galax items and be like, these flames are garbage. How do people have 80 stat and 6 all stat? I thought they just got. I thought you had to use the like really rare flames to get that or something.
Use the Eternals to get crazy rolls.
Yeah, so I bought some with the Legion points, and then I got garbage flames with that. So I was like, okay, let me Google what flames are.
Clearly this isn't like the one-stop solution.
So yeah, my goals, I don't know. I came back. Almost all my items are from like almost 5 years ago, except for like the Absolab and the Fafnir weapon. So they're like over-invested in potential, but under-invested in Star Force, because there were like never any Star Force events back when I played, I think.
Yeah, 15 was max, right? So
yeah,
you wouldn't even go very high.
So there was like no reason to go for it, I think. And now Star Force is just like some insane way of getting stronger, which is new to me. I came back, there was like a week or so before 5.10, 15, I had so much to do for like getting my Legion up and stuff. My Legion was, I think, 2K, and now it's 4K, so I got that. I've been playing way too much MapleStory the past month, by the way, but yeah, I wasn't even planning on getting anything to like 17 with the 5.10, 15, but then I got pretty lucky, and I got 3 of my CRA armors to 17 when they were at 12 or 10. So right now, my goals are like to do Lucid. I don't know if I can, how feasible it is to kill her solo, or I've killed everything up till Lucid now solo. It's
including
really fun.
the like the in-between bosses, like in between like the CRA stuff.
I've killed CPAP, Akechi, Lotus, Damien. And it's really satisfying to kill them solo. Yeah, HMAC too.
Okay.
My friend is also playing, and he started out with like nothing, but he's a Kana, so he's getting strong quickly. I think he's at like 13k stat, and maybe we could duo Lucid. Or I'm not opposed to like joining a struggle party either. So I mean, if it comes to that, but it's been fun to get to a boss and try it out and be like struggling on it, and then get stronger and stronger, and finally kill it. It's like the very first time I killed Seavel, because it's been like 5 years in the making killing that guy. Is like I would come back maybe for a couple of days, or even just log on Maple to try to kill Seavel and then log off if I couldn't kill him, because I had like a pencil or an Utgard weapon, so it was very struggle. And that's just kind of, I mean, I'm not in any rush to get to endgame, but I don't want to waste my time doing like really inefficient stuff. Like I guess my number one question is whether I should invest into like an Absolab weapon, since my Fafnir weapon has a really good potential. I don't know how much stronger it would make me unless I got lucky again on a potential, which is very unlikely. I looked at like the cost of getting a potential like that. It's like very high. And my Tyrant Cape, I'd have to probably replace my Tyrant Cape with an Absolab Cape and the Absolab weapon, so I'd be investing like 2 different items. So yeah, I'm just not sure exactly what to do for progressing like into past Lucid and getting into Lucid and stuff like that. Like, I know I've watched quite a bit of your progression videos, and a lot of the people that have the fake arcane weapon, you would recommend them skipping Absolab and just going into the arcane. But I don't have the fake arcane weapon, so I'm like not getting that bonus. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah,
mostly.
That puts you in a different situation for sure. Yeah, for Lucid, so if you were able to solo Lotus and Damien quite handily, is that with guild skills? Are you familiar with all that?
I can solo them without guild skills. It's really not that bad. It's pretty. Lotus is easy. I can solo her without anything. Damien is more of like a, if I'm playing well type thing. Like, I'll just fuck up and not cleanse on timer or something because he's just in the air so long, and Luminous doesn't have that many things to kill him while he's in the air. Like, I use the dark mode Aether Conduit under him to do damage, and besides that, I'm not even sure. Yeah, the gate too.
Lotus is a guy. It's a common.
Oh, that's true.
People usually.
I actually had no idea Lotus was a guy until I had the voices on.
Right, yeah. It's like twins and
misgendering,
ambiguously androgynous Southeast Asian characters in video games.
Yeah, I'm canceled. I'm gonna get twit-longered.
Hashtag cancelled. RIP. Well, it's been cool. Good luck on everything. No more association from me with you. Save my brand.
It's
no,
press.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. So with have you done any luciding?
I've done like 3 easy Lucid practice runs with my Kana friend. He has like 13k stat, I think, but he's getting stronger like all the time, so he'll probably catch up to me and probably surpass me since he's a Kana. I'm like gearing my Kana since I'm now out of totems, although they're resetting in 4 days. But yeah, I've done probably 3 practice mode easy Lucids, and that's it.
Yeah, so I'm guessing the main thing in the beginning is like death to every dragon because golem block is probably what's going on, if I'm guessing.
I think I survived the dragons. I died to the butterflies because I didn't realize you're supposed to cleanse.
So, yeah. Cleansing technique is on top of it, and that's also like the cleansing is also on the sides, right? For the dragon, you have to be able to go to the sides. Once the golems, if they tend to cluster up, you do have a lot of lines, and you have like the passive as well helps to keep the golems in check. And Kana has a decent amount of lines as well, so in that sense, you guys are a good combo. Might take you a little bit longer because you're not insanely bursty and you're both not the characters who do like the most damage in a burst, but because you have the lines, you can keep control over the golems. What is upcoming, one of the changes as well, is that there's not going to be limited damage anymore to the golems for easy and normal, which is in place now. So that should make easy and normal easier to kill because the golems will just start melting compared to the line restriction now, which makes it more reasonable for people to go in like full struggle parties and full runs now to be able to survive. But after that change, it would be easier to duo with your friends. So having the practice in now and being able to reasonably progress through easy now, once normal comes around, once the changes comes around, switching up to normal should be pretty manageable with the 2 of you, especially considering the steps you can make until then.
Right. Okay.
So I don't think there's going to be, for that aspect, that will make the content more accessible. Yeah, when it comes to surviving dragons and stuff, of course, like you have your binders, your iframe, your ethereal form, all of that shit. You can do some weird. I think for Lucid, you can still just teleport through golems and survive. Normal and up, you'll take a lot of damage doing that, so that's not safe anymore. So then the golem clear becomes really important.
Right.
Yeah, soon TM. Yeah, we're horribly behind on like the quality of life and the skill changes. We're really behind in KMS. Not too sure why. For all the other stuff, we're pretty up to speed. But also KMS has just released the 64-bit client, which
oh yeah, I saw that.
yeah, despite some hiccups, is proving very good for them over there. So we're all, fingers crossed, eagerly anticipating that one.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It would be, yeah. Well, hopefully we're we're hoping that it resolves some of the stability issues. We're also hoping that once the current event is over and gone, that the stability of the game can somewhat go back to what it was, because the GUI event did quite a number on the memory leak problem. So it's not really in a good situation now.
I was wondering why my UI was turning invisible when I came back.
Yeah, that's that shit at work, like to the point where you basically have to play Maple with your task manager open at all times so you can keep an eye on your memory usage.
I started doing that.
It's quite unfortunate, but yeah, when it comes to the equips and stuff, we'll circle back to that with once all the other stuff is kind of checked out. But you have seen other sessions, and you have figured out flames and everything. Is there any other system in the game? Because I'm guessing familiars might be a little bit weird.
Oh yeah, familiars were new. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm doing familiar-wise. I think I have like 15% IED ones, and I use those depending on the boss. I don't know if I think the Luminouses that I've seen, or like on the Lumi Discord, they say you want like 92% on your character stat window. And I have like 90. I think with 2 IED familiars, I have 92. But I don't know if that's if I need that right now, or if that's for like later bosses, because I got like Ender IED and I don't know. I was planning on doing more with familiars once I'm in the zone and farming the zones that drop the cards. So
right, yeah. You have any drop on familiars?
Yeah, I have 2 big spiders. I also have like a ton of lucky winters or whatever they're called from before. So they don't stack, because if I have a familiar and I ask me to use a coupon, it'll say they don't stack.
Yeah, it's not really 100%. Oh yeah, I see some familiar notice here. Yeah, big spiders and old hybrid drop meso. Yeah, so the old hybrid drop meso line. I don't know if you see my familiar command on it. So that's like equivalent to 60%. I believe, I don't know if it's 100% confirmed, but I believe that those old pink buffs are both just plus 50%.
Oh, okay.
That's like what I've, in my personal experience, I think it was believed in the past that the drop was something like 80 or 90% or something, which I think are weird numbers. 50%, because when I switched from using those all the time to using my familiar instead, when I ran out, all of my rates went up by like a little bit.
Yeah.
Over like dozens, up to like almost 100 hours of training. So if it, and I know that the experience coupon is plus 50%, and it says a large amount, and so does the drop coupon. So I'm inclined to believe that that one is also 50. But since the spider gives 60, that would mean that the spider is just more valuable. So what you could say is, like, on a day when you know you're also going to train and you're going to do a totem, you could use this coupon instead if you want to do some bosses, or you're just doing some daily bosses, to just save the timer on your familiars instead, so you don't have to use the familiar essences. But otherwise, I would probably just save them for mules where you're doing anything and you want to get maybe a little bit more drop, and they don't have the familiar because of the change to the familiar lines, right? There's no guaranteed way of getting the drop anymore from the spiders, so they can come in clutch there, but otherwise they're just kind of like legacy sitting there, I guess. Same thing with the experience coupons.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, like I would just use those for Legion if you don't want to use up all your Legion coins and there's no event going on with easy coupons, then I would just use those. But generally, I had some of those as well, but I haven't used any. I would only just use 2x's from the various sources that exist. I would never downgrade to like a 1.5x. I was never that desperate over the years of building out my Legion.
Right. Okay. One question about the familiars. I know I learned this, I didn't know it before, that you need, 67% drop to get a guaranteed meso bag?
Yeah.
Does if a familiar says drop chance increase, does that apply to that? Or is it just the hybrid and the meso drop?
Yeah, so for the familiar, it's split up between between meso drop rate and item drop rate. So when it comes to an equip, that's like all items. So that includes bags if it's on an equip. Okay. But if it's on a familiar, it's split out between the two. But if you're probably going to be using the spider for a while, so spider does both, so it's essentially the same. It's essentially like a 60% everything. Yeah, so between that and just holy symbol, you already have your guaranteed money. So if you would be in an area where you do need to get a lot of power to be able to kill things, but you're only there for money and for EXP, you could just get only meso obtain and like 5 lines of meso obtain in your equip, and for everything else go full damage. And that way you would get full money, you would get full bag drop rate and full money in every bag, and still be optimally strong to be able to kill fast, if that, if the situation would require that.
Yeah, I think it probably would, because my arcane force is low since I missed like all those dailies.
4 years of dailies, yeah.
4 years of dailies. So I'm only, I think on the screenshot I sent you, it's 600 something, and now today it's like, what is it? 700, 725. So
695 here. Yeah, that's some little bit of arcane force in the hyperstat. Yeah, it's already 30 levels there. Yeah, nice. Or 3 levels higher, as I say.
How do I level the those traits? By the way, I know like daily bosses, like ambition and stuff, but
yeah, daily boss ambition. Empathy and insight is from harvesting, like flowers and rocks. So for empathy and insight, typically if you have any of those trait boost potions ever, I throw them onto empathy and insight. Maybe onto willpower if you want to, but willpower isn't as important if I remember correctly. Because it just what does it give you again? Defense? Oh, status resistance. Yeah, status resistance can be useful. Willpower used to be just like be AFK and be in a guild, and you get like guild points and willpower. Yeah, I think right now, when it comes to like boosting traits, typically it's like between empathy, insight, and willpower. Kind of like divide over all 3. Diligence does diddly squat, so who cares? And charm is pretty unimportant past level 30 as well. And then ambition from bosses. So it's mainly just those 3 where you have trait boost potions or something. So what you can do is, if you have a trait boost potion, or you have something that could give you a trait boost potion, and you focus on redeeming that on a character that still is actively leveling traits. I think the major source is Monster Collection for that.
Oh, okay.
Are you familiar with how all that works?
Very, very little. I just looked at it a little bit and I kind of closed it because it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's connected to reward points very much so, and getting a lot of reward points is also useful if you want to max out on totems very easily. So there is a reward point video. I'll put it in the chat. And that goes into like exploration of reward points also a little bit, but mainly goes into like how can you max out your reward points very easily, and part of that is like which, because a lot of reward points come from this as well, from the selection. So there's like a link to another guide as well that looks at which sets are easy to complete and which monsters are easy to add to the collection, and how can you build up enough slots to get easy monster collection going. And then every single time you pick it up, there's reward points, and then there's trait boost potions, and then there's some chance for some other stuff. And over time, this will help you max out your traits pretty easily. Kind of like passively on the side. You don't have to really go out of your way too much to work on that. And then if there's event shops, typically if there's event shops and you bought out all the important stuff and you still have some points left over, there's usually some trait boost potions here and there that you can buy, and then you can use that to get like an extra little bump. Until you max them out.
Okay, sounds good.
So that's usually how you throw the traits around. Yeah, so systems. Okay, so familiars, that seems clear to you?
Yeah.
With like how to get the badges and stuff. I had like some resources for that under
yeah, I did. I just been putting that off because there's like other stuff to do. So
yeah. Yeah, once you have if you have 2 badges and you can have 2 characters, like that's enough for a long time. Once you get to the point where, like, if you can start training in Moonbridge, for example, right, and you really get to a lot of cards dropping, that's a good idea to get to, if you can, to get to 10 badges into 3 slots then, so that you can use 1 slot to have the spider in, and then the other 2 slots to be actively leveling your familiars, because you need to level them up to level 5 before you can rank them up.
Right.
So then you can be, doing 2 birds in 1 stone, or 3 birds, I guess, in 1 stone kind of thing. So then, you know, doing one at a time is not the worst thing, but if you can do two, that definitely speeds up the process. And if you do tend to play so much that you're finishing up your totems, you'll have so many cards that you'll want to be leveling and going up to unique as well. Otherwise, your whole inventory will just be filled to the brim with cards very quickly.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that introduces like the topic of like the drop in the meso stuff as well. So, but we'll circle back to that once we'll get through all of that. With Legion and Links, that's all like clear to you? Yeah, I guess like the one major thing that we had to go over there was like the access of crit and the necessity of that. With the upcoming changes, it probably means that you have a lot more freedom there, and then you can move into whatever is next useful for you. But you're familiar with the links command in my channel?
Yep, I have that bookmarked, I think, on on Firefox. So
okay,
very
nice,
useful.
Nice. Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Go for
it. The next one I'm gonna level up for like my Legion and just for the links is the resistance for the bosses, where that'll be. I don't need it that badly for the bosses that I'm currently killing, but I know it's gonna be very useful for the future. I'd probably drop Hybrid Logic for it.
Or
right now,
crit in this sense, but yeah, it could be Hybrid Logic, yeah.
Oh right, yeah, that too. I'm not sure right now if Hybrid Logic or Kane's link is better.
Yeah, the thing is, so if you're like min-maxing and throwing everything into a calculator, it'll tell you which one is better. In my experience, your first like 8 or 9 links are like pretty clear cut which ones they have to be because of what they do and if they're level 3 or not. And then numbers like maybe 9 or like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 are typically all kind of like gray area. Like they're all so close together that it's hard to tell which one is better. My kind of philosophy is if they're so close together that you can like obviously tell which one is better, then it's probably not even that important.
Yeah.
It's probably all like so close together that you could throw it on a calculator to find out which one gives you like 0.2% more final damage, or you could just throw in one of them and just know that it's decently taken care of. That's usually how I go about it. If you're like 275 plus and you're trying to do Black Mage and you want to make sure that you've got everything on lock, then it's like important to throw it into a calculator and see what's what. But until you get to that point, whether it's Hybrid Logic, Elementalism, or whether it's like maybe even like the Pirate Blessing fully stacked, or it's the Resistance. One thing like for Lotus and for other stuff that has debris falling that might stun you or CC you, you could opt into the Cygnus link fully stacked, because it does give a lot of weapon magic attack, but also gives you some status resistance, which helps you get stunned shorter. And like sealed shorter, so that can have the combination of probably being a little bit weaker, but also giving you some utility, which might give you more survivability. So that might be one that's sort of like worth considering. And I talk about this as well. I don't have any
Cygnus leveled up.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, eventually, one Cygnus is nice because of the Cygnus blessing skill as well. Gives you some extra passive weapon and magic attack if you level them up to 150.
Oh yeah, I have Mihail actually. That's the only one.
Yeah. The Mihail Link skill is also changing. In the buff duration for level 2 is going to get extended tremendously, basically making it so that you never have to go to rank 3, even for characters that have that don't rely in any way on buff duration. They can just get 100% uptime very easily, even with a rank 2. Since you will eventually go into buff duration, rank 2 is probably already good enough anyway, right? Because it'll just extend it to 100% uptime. But you know, for other characters, if you ever want to get serious with another character that might need it for future reference, you know that's something that you don't have to have on the, you know, hanging over you, that you have to finish that at some point. That's not going to be as necessary. So
good to know.
That's good to know. Yeah. I don't see any. Well, you know the list of the Legion and the links and everything, and all the ones that make sense. Some level 3s are very good, of course, and you know once you do get that Legion level up, some level 3s will be very, very nice. But yeah, I imagine.
Yeah, that's definitely on the to-do thing. Probably, like, well, I don't know which one has. I guess Demon Avengers good to do 210.
Yep.
I was planning on leveling like the Hayato and Jet.
Yep. Get the critical damage. Yep.
Although that's not a link, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why I throw them into the same grid, right? Because they both have value both ways, so that's why I think it is important to see them holistically, as in value for your account, rather than I do links now, I do Legion then.
I prefer doing the Legion anyway, because like links have the limit on them. Although that's getting increased, right, to 10 or something.
Yeah, I think base amount of 4 times I think per day, and then you can pay extra for up to 10. So it's functionally almost going to be limitless, for minor fee. So
yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, especially if you're actively working on your Legion, or you have a lot of characters to do bosses on. It makes it so the scheduling is just way simpler.
Yeah, that was something that I would like chuckle. I'd be like, okay, I'd level this character, and then
this at this time tomorrow, and then
I have to swap them back to my.
No, you can't train because this link is stuck to that character. Yeah. And then some people would start doing like double buff characters to have like 2 links so they can move double around. But then if you make too many doubles, then you can't have all the characters anymore because of limited channel.
I'm not at that level right now.
Character select. Not yet, but you know, once you start throwing out more characters, you still have 11 characters you can make. Yeah, once you make one of each, I mean, that's 48 classes now, I think. 49th one is on the way. And we have like 50-something slots, so there's not that much double room that you have. The Lara coming out. Yeah, but if you have no more questions for Links and Legion and the order there. I guess for the Legion board, so what do we talk about? Yeah, the crit. Well, for now you're good. Do you have the extra 10% crit from the GUI event right now? Did you participate in that?
No, I didn't put any points into that. I did the, what is it? The one on the left for the...
the experience.
That one, and then I got some of the arcane symbol ones, but I didn't put any points into like the stats.
Okay, yeah. And ID-wise, you were at 91 or something? With the, or 92 with the familiars?
Wait, I'm in game right now. Buff or use familiars.
And just with these... yeah, just with level 3 that works. That's without the Hoyoung. Without the Hoyoung and the 0. Do you have a 0? Because that wasn't available for...
I don't have a 0. I wish I had a 0.
It's nice EXP buff.
I have a 0 on Broa, or whatever it's called now.
Oh yeah, whatever they renamed that to. That cluster.
My IED is... Oh wait, I don't have something equipped. Oh, I don't have Galax.
You immediately notice the difference. Yeah, you have 4 sets superior from olden times, right?
Yep.
Otherwise, typically it's a bit trickier to get to that percentage IED.
It's 93% with familiars.
Yeah.
2 15% ones.
Yeah, so you should be fine then. You have you have some built-in IED. You have the Explorer Mage. You have the boost nodes, I think, right? Yeah,
the boost nodes are. I have two of the ones. What are they? I only need 2 as a Luminous.
Yep.
I think, unless I'm doing something wrong that I don't know about.
It's possible that later on people end up with a second slot just because then you boost anything you use ever, and there's probably very limited use once you get like past level 260 and stuff. There's probably very limited use to some boost nodes, to some skill nodes. I mean, so that the boost nodes comparatively maybe have some value again.
Yeah. It's a rolling meteor thing, maybe. But
maybe Luminous. Optional extra node if you like the skills or have extra space. There you go. Yeah, Spectral Light, Morning Star, Death Scythe. Yeah, that's like a min-maxy thing. Yeah. As long as you have Reflection, Apocalypse, Ender, if you have that one boosted, you're good for most things. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess since we Legion Links is fine, right? Since we segued into Matrix, I guess. If you have any questions with that.
I'm good with Matrix. That's one thing that wasn't new.
Yeah, we talked about the
only thing new was the points you put in, which is very self-explanatory.
Yeah, the Matrix points in the slots. Yep. Yeah, you can move them around. Special node wise, you good?
Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah, the ones you can always extract is like Hyperbody and Decent Door. Those you will
I forgot to extract that one door.
Yeah, just double checking. Yeah, the other ones, pretty much all the other ones you can work on Right, Ethereal Form will be useful. Urda's Will later will also be useful to block CCs and stuff.
Should I level those up?
Yeah, if you find those doubles, like I wouldn't actively be making them, but if you find the doubles, just throw them on and level them. Yeah. Okay, also your decent skills do the same for those.
Okay. I level Holy Symbol.
Yeah.
For sure, and then.
Yes. If you're gonna be like making nodes, Holy Symbol is probably a good thing to start working on now, just to give you the more experience plus the more drop rate, and then the drop rate gets you more nodes, and then cycles back into itself.
Exactly.
Yeah, for the aura, I believe it changes the cooldown a little bit, but for like Hero's Will, it reduces the cooldown by a lot. And the further you get into the game, the more bosses you will do where you will just either want to pop it right before you start bursting so you don't get sealed or blinded by some weird shit mid burst when you're setting everything up and then everything misses, for example. Or like you throw out your conduit and then you start attacking, you get hit by something and then everything misses, right? If you pop that skill first, or like you pop your conduit, pop that skill, and then attack, then even if you get hit by something, you won't, the effect won't take place, so you maintain a lot of damage.
Which skill are you talking about? Are you talking about Freud's?
Anything that gives you immunity, right? So it would be like a fully sec Freud's, for example. It could be an Erd as well. And do you have like... do you have a built-in version of that as well? I think you do, right?
Erda?
Like Hero's Will, I mean? Like another will skill?
I didn't even realize Hero's Will gives immunity for 3 seconds. I'm reading it now. That's good to know.
Yeah, so you can use it if you like go into hard Hilla, like you just walk into the map, you pop that, and then you just attack her, and then...
Oh, okay. I thought it was like... I don't know if you ever played WoW, but PvP trinket. I thought it was like a PvP trinket from...
Oh, no, I never played WoW, no.
Okay, never mind then. Yeah.
But like it cleanses some, and then but it prevents all. So if you like press it in time, nothing can happen. But if you... Sometimes if you press it after something happens to you, like it goes on cooldown, but you don't get you don't get cleansed. So it's better use preventative, but only 3 seconds. So you have to be pretty sure of what's coming.
Yeah, that's funny that I've used the skill, but I've never like read it that it gives. I see now it gives 3 seconds. That's nice to know.
It's also possible that they changed the wording a little bit to be more uniform. That not all the descriptions of the skills were as clear. That's also very possible. I should be able to. Borderline make that. Might be a few minutes late, Noah, but I'll be able to make that. Yeah, all the other ones, you can just level up and stack. Mainly for the decent skills, it feels pretty useless to level them because you already have 100% uptime. The main value is that when you're bossing and you're doing bosses where it's more and more important to have everything kind of, min-max together to have optimal setups. Specifically once you're doing Lucid and Will and then the hard versions of the bosses and everything beyond that. The worst thing is having everything set up for the burst and like, okay, bind is in 10 seconds, guys. Okay, everything is prepped. And then you look at the top right and then the decent skills have like 15 seconds left and you can't use them yet, but they're gonna run out right in the middle of the burst. So if you have them higher level, that means that you can prep them well before and they will never like run out in a important situations. That's the main thing. But that's why you don't really make them early on, but when you do get them, you level them up so that eventually, if it's your main, right? If it's like a side character, I would just always keep them level 1, like extract, get more value from your shards. But if it's your main character and you're really going to push it to like hard Lucid, hard Will eventually, then I would start leveling them for sure.
Okay, yep, sounds good. Makes sense. What about the purple? Are there any times where...
Special notes,
Probably right now, I shouldn't worry about them, but like eventually they'll be useful. So I don't know which ones are good.
Yeah, if you're doing like crazy training sessions, character building 1 is pretty good.
Okay.
That's when you can craft. If you get hit a lot by monsters, it gives you extra EXP for like 20 seconds. It's basically when you're at the situation where any slot that you have, you can kind of get rid of. It doesn't really lower your rates. But it can increase, your EXP by throwing that in, by it triggering every now and then. Then that's a nice little bonus. The other ones, when it comes to bossing, some people use... I always fuck up the name, but I think it's called lethal strikes. If you're trying to like min-max your damage for the boss and trying to get like squeeze out more damage during a burst, and again, it's not really going at the expense of anything other important, yada yada yada. Then you can use that one. Oh, fatal strikes, that's the one. Fatal strikes. If you need more survivability, there's also a healing one. that I use sometime. There's like 2 healing ones. You can craft both of them, and one is just objectively better than the other one, so it's kind of a bait. It's auto recovery. Yeah, there's auto recovery 1 and 2, and one heals every 40 seconds, and the other one every 30 seconds, and they cost the exact same thing to make. So I don't know why they both exist, but
yeah, weird.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that one just full heals you every 30 seconds when you're attacking every now and then. And you'll always see that well, always, but you can see that a special node has activated, but when the giant V like shows up over your head.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, so if you
like streams.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where that comes from. Those are mainly there's some niche edge cases for other classes than you, but those are like the only ones that are really worth considering, honestly.
Okay.
Because yeah, they're pretty expensive, and then they last for a week, so you have to extract them again before they disappear.
Right.
In KMS now, they made it so that they go like on passive mode when they expire. They don't disappear, so you can still extract them later. Another cool thing they added 6 years after the system came out, that you can actually get your shards back. But
yeah.
Yeah, other than that, your boost nodes are looking very healthy. A lot of the skills are up there, so like it's still mainly like a mobbing setup, right? Like you're prioritizing the mobbing skills mostly.
Well, the only ones that are that useful for mobbing are like the gate and then the liberation orb passive.
Yeah.
The spider thing was pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
Play symbol, but what is it even called? Baptism is not useful for farming. Aether Conduit has some uses sometimes, so I can pretty safely get rid of Baptism when I'm like farming, but there's nothing really else to put. If I need more damage because I'm in like a higher level zone, then I could do like Combat Orders or Advanced Blessing, but I don't have to in Arcana, which is where I've been farming, so I just leave it like that pretty much.
Yeah, Advanced Blessing is pretty well. When it comes to like training, I've been
prioritizing my Kana's nodes. Actually, I'll get node stones and give them to my Kana, just because I feel like it gets more use out of getting node stones right now, since
so if you have the income, if you have the raw point income to always like max out on your totems, and you want to play more, then it makes sense to get the Kana online for sure.
Yeah, I definitely prefer just not being constrained by having to be at my computer for 2 hours straight. I like I'm on a Kana, I can just farm for 30 minutes and get up and like stretch and stuff. It's like very annoying how their systems are, where they give me this totem and I have to use it for 2 hours.
You don't have to, but if you don't,
you don't
then
have to, but
the value, for sure. True, I know what you mean.
So my Kana now is 215. I think in the screenshot it was 20. It was lower, but I'm leveling
208 or something.
Up. And I got
206.
like three drop items and 3 meso items, so it's almost like ready to start doing some stuff.
It's getting up there,
It got a 33% int horntail necklace. So
of course,
Before I saw meso wear drop, so.
Typical.
I looked at the calculator, it was like 174 billion or something average to get 33%. I don't know, maybe that number is too high, but it's very high number.
Yeah, it is a very high number. Well, with depends on if you put it with red cubes or black cubes, probably, right?
Oh, true. Yeah, I guess it's a lot more common to get with double or with black cubes because Prime Land. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but if you luck into that with red cubes, then.
Yeah, I was using red cubes.
Yeah, so. If you would purposely try to get that, it's a very expensive thing to try to.
I don't want this. I'm not gonna roll over it, but I don't want this.
Yeah,
so I'll keep it.
Time to get another legendary. Yeah, sometimes the game throws you a curveball.
I was hoping maybe I would get double prime, like double meso or double item or meso item drop rate on one item. That'd be really nice, but
but
no
then you
luck
get
so far.
Double prime int instead.
Yep, exactly.
Typical.
Or triple meso. I wouldn't complain if I got triple meso on one item.
Oh yeah. Triple meso is possible. Yeah. Triple drop isn't. Did you? Not to go too deep into it because of all the memes surrounding it with the fake arcane and everything, but all the compensations. Did you get any? Did you get any of that news? Well, basically there was like a bunch of stuff in potentials that wasn't possible, and there was for flames there was a bunch of stuff that.
Oh wait, I did hear
was connected.
Like strength was really common or something.
Yeah, some lines were more common, and also if you already rolled something on the flame, other stats would have altered chances of occurring. And for inner abilities, people were basically being able, were like able to make recipes. Like they would have, if you had a certain line on a certain type of stat on a certain line in your inner ability, and then you re-rolled, you could dramatically change the odds of something showing up. And basically this weighted appearance, when they said that there was no weighting whatsoever, like in KMS, caused like a huge scandal and a mass exodus of the player base. So they had to like completely renew that whole system and give that giant compensation. That's what that all was connected to, basically.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, all stat and jump. Like if you looked at your flames and you looked at all the ones that had all stat on it, there was like an 80% chance or something that they also had jump. Most of your items would have both of those stats at the same time, and that's kind of what led people to believe that there was something there. And then on a test server, people really started like trying stuff, and then they found the inner ability thing, and then, you know, at that point, people were seeing things everywhere. People were like, okay, what if I kill this boss on the left side of the map? Do I have a higher chance of getting the drop or not? And yeah, people started thinking that potentials were also like, well, they would like use cubes on a mage to try to roll for strength, so they have a higher chance, and then sell. You know, people were like going crazy at a certain point. But at a certain point, you don't even know, like, are you crazy, or is this actually how it works?
Well,
like,
when something's revealed, as
you start doubting everything.
Yeah.
So
I
that was
when
a wild time.
I played Diablo, people would be paranoid about like killing a boss on a certain something, and it would drop more stuff, and it's just like you look at them like, that's not how it works. But I mean, maybe there's like a flaw in the code or something that actually comes out to being like that. But
yeah. It's one of those like, even if you're right, you shouldn't be type situations.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that was that whole thing, but that has made them also, at least in KMS, be more transparent and be more communicative, but also has them redoing the inner ability. That's why the inner ability stuff is kind of coming in trenches, because they do want to make it a lot better, but they don't want to, because the feedback they also got in KMS, of course, because it's non-reboot and there's a market and everything, is that they were kind of going overzealous also on the flames, because also when they connected to that, you were like, how are people getting such insane flames? We basically got all of the flames back that we used over a 2-year period. So some people, like I got back about 14,000 flames worth of value, and that's me without farming and like really min-maxing on my flames. People who actually spent a lot of money on flames got like double or in some situations. So some people were able to push their average flames way beyond what is normal and acceptable. So that's why you will see some people with crazy flames as well, right? Because if you throw out 1,000 flames on something when you usually only would put 200, then you also have like a 10% chance of getting a 1 in 10,000 flame in there. So some people get even crazier shit that shouldn't, mathematically almost be possible. Yeah, some people just running around with 140 and 5% arcane gear, which mathematically would, you would just never aim for, because it's just not realistic.
Yeah.
But with that compensation, it was realistic for some people, so to connect it to that. Okay, so do you have like an eventual goal in mind of what you want to eventually reach, or you just want to play with your friend and see how far you get?
I don't know. I mean, the game's fun. It's a lot more fun now. In the past, it was like annoying because just Kana mules. I know it's like stupid to be like, oh my god, my my progression is slower than the other people, but I mean, everyone just had like a second computer and using a Kana, and it was just kind of annoying thinking that like I should have it in the back of my head. And there were other games that I wanted to play, so it's like, whatever, I'll just stop playing. I remember I used like a virtual machine to have a Kana since I didn't have a second computer, and it was like my computer was really slow, so it made my old slow computer even slower, and I was just like, why am I doing this to myself? I can just play another game. But now,
other games,
I mean,
now,
like, I don't know, I came back and the progression feels really nice and fun. I like Legion. I like that if I'm like playing a second or another character, I'm contributing to my main. It feels nice. And
well, the changes to the Kishin uptime and then the addition of the totems definitely changed the 2PC meta pressure a lot as well.
Yeah, I'm like appreciative of that, because it was really annoying for me personally, I guess.
Yeah, and the additional experience that you need to level now in the higher level areas as well has made it even for the long term, like the 2PC meta still kind of exists and like the end game stuff, right? Because you want to be able to have Kishin all the time, and the totems just don't cut it if you want to make. But like every single area has got another 5-level increase limit of access. So like, do you make a level 270 Kana? Are you gonna make it 275 on the like? Are you gonna go to 280 and 285? Like, how far are you really gonna push that, right? Some people will just eventually keep pushing that, and I think it's good that they have the option to do that if they really want to.
Yeah, if they want to.
But it's always like finding that line between, is this a reasonable amount of benefit that you get, or is this just gonna make people feel like shit that they don't have it?
Right.
And that's the line to, and I think they've jumped to the other side of the line with the change. I think with the totems and with the with the reduction of the uptime of Kishin. So I think that's good. Okay, but no like aspirations of Black Mage, but maybe into the hard bosses, hard Lucid, hard Will, and then maybe eventually Tenebris if it becomes accessible.
I mean, I'm just any boss that I get to, I would like to kill it, and then if I kill it, it might take a lot more years or months than people that are doing it. But I don't have any like reason to stop doing stuff. I'm like pretty hardcore with gaming, but not like like hardcore like personally. I don't care about comparing myself to other people, especially on MapleStory, because it's just kind of
it's too casual for that.
It's fun, so I'm just gonna keep playing while it's fun. And having a Lucid Soul is like very motivational. That would be nice because it's like apparently very nice for farming. Having
it depends which maps, but there's some maps that it's very beneficial.
It's just fun to get stronger over time. Just seeing like, I mean, it felt so good to kill Vellum finally after like 5 years. It's like, wow, it feels really nice. And then a
little bit of power creep helping you out there, but
Lotus and Damien were so much easier than Vellum was like all the time ago. I mean, just because I had like the access to IED and stuff was way lower back then too. Oh, I remember the old system with the badge. I think the Leafree or Leafer, however you pronounce it, badge. You had to do Dragon Rider PQ, and Dragon Rider PQ was bugged, and it would DC you anytime you tried to go. And
or you just close your client a bunch of times. With the Crusader Codex, the set bonus on the Codex. Now you basically just have to get the familiar stats, right, to compensate for that, plus the familiar badges, and that combination is kind of replacing that system. The eventual peak of that whole system is way higher. But the baseline is harder to get. Like getting the Crusader Codex set for Leafer and then getting the 30% IED was very simple. But that baseline 30% IED, not having access to that, plus the Helix set being the superior Golux set, right, being pushed down way further because of the increased difficulty of Golux, has made it harder to get IED early. So like the pressure on Link skills and Legion is higher. The pressure on prioritizing the hyperstat for IED and prioritizing getting familiars with 15% IED is way higher now. Otherwise, early and mid, it's very hard to get your IED to be able to boss. Although they did decrease the that's probably also why CVAL was easier for you. They did decrease the PDR for CVAL from 300% to 200%.
I heard about that.
And when you were you mentioned earlier as well, like if you need that IED, like your IED is in a good position. Because basically like Lotus and Damien is where the 300% comes in, and then everything above has 300%, up to Saren, who has even higher, but that's a little bit far away.
Saren. I actually want to kill Saren tomorrow, so tell me how I can do that.
So how much money do you have to buy counts?
That'll be the only way.
I don't think anyone who's there is at this point trying to get rid of that. Plus you get banned, so there's that. Oh yeah, that as well. Like you were talking about, like turning your computer into VMware shit. Like that's also TOS thing. So that's also that risk.
Bannable, but I was like, I mean, if they're gonna ban me, then whatever. I mean, they have this weird restriction where I can't open multiple clients on my computer, but you can just like have a second computer and open a client. It's like, I mean, I'm just gonna use a virtual machine and go ahead and ban me if you want. That was my thought process back then.
You talked to Crispel in the chat. He thinks, he goes so far as to say that having a Kishin on a second account is cheating and should be bannable.
Oh, so maybe. I mean, I don't know.
But
it's definitely annoying.
He's a Kana main and wants to get rid of Kishin too, so he's got some interesting opinions. Yeah, for progress. Okay, so main progress things. Big thing that's coming for Reboot as well. You know, one of those things that we're just waiting for. We're not sure when it's going to come, etc., etc. As the Reboot passive change, when they're going to change the damage percentage to the final damage.
Yeah.
So that's one thing to keep in mind. So for long term, for upgrading, that means that boss damage lines on WSE will comparatively become more valuable, which does kind of safeguard your secondary and your main for longer term, so that's good. The other main stretch in the last 4 years is that I think when you quit, did Arcane Gear even exist?
Lacaline or Lachulin, whatever, came out, and it technically existed, but no one had it.
No one had it, yeah. So we went from it like barely existing to being like elite as fuck to now being like the norm basically is what you've completely missed. So at this point, you're like in a good position, and since what you already asked about, to kind of just completely skip the Abso weapon, especially considering the potential you have on this one. Yeah, like keep doing C-Val, keep getting backups, and then like during a like if there's a 30% off Starforce event, get it up to 15, eventually get it to 17. But I would just sit on 17, honestly, and then just work towards the arcane weapon and focus on upgrading the other stuff that you will keep further down the road, and getting the damage from there that you need to be able to kill Lucid. So I don't know how far you... do you have a picture with like backups?
Oh, that's what I forgot. Backups, I have like four of glove, shoulder, boots, belt. That's pretty much what I have for backups. I had one superior belt backup. I tried using it during like the 5, 10, 15, and then it boomed at like 14, so I have no more backups for that yet.
Yikes.
What else? I think I'll probably just have to, unless I get lucky with drops, I'd have to safeguard a lot of stuff, but the cost is, it's a lot more than like during 30% off. I was looking, but it's like not that bad, especially if I have a Kana where I can make a lot of mesos.
Yeah, you're in a position now where getting up to 15 first, right? So 30% off event is the next one you're looking for, and try to bump everything to 15. And just remember that 15 is just the admission fee that you pay to get to 17. So you're not gonna feel like a huge gain there, but you are gonna feel a huge cost there. But then 15 to 17 is gonna be big. I mean, yeah, you saw the attack gain and the stat gain on your CRA. It's basically that and nice. More, order of magnitude that. So, all the extra magic attack and stat together is gonna be a huge benefit. But yeah, so in general, droplet wise, how far are you with that?
I have 46 or something droplets. I don't know how many droplets you need. It's like 200 or something per weapon, or... Yeah,
so they changed that a lot over time as well. So the current situation we're in is that every 9 droplets and then every 1 boss drop gets you 1 coin, and then the regular equips are 12 coins and the weapons are 24.
Okay.
And then both of the shops carry the weapons, so you do need at least the specified amount of boss drops per store individually, right? So you either need 24 on one or 24 on the other one. Probably going to be Lucid, right? Because way earlier access and all that, both arcane power and level wise. But for droplets, there is a droplet exchange character. So if you go to a higher level and you get the other droplets to drop, you can exchange them 1-to-1 with the NPC unlimited. So even if you do go to a higher level area and you get the Esfera droplets, the Esfera map droplets, you can just trade them back into the Lucid area droplets and be able to purchase the weapon there. So there's no limit anymore to that sense in needing to be in a certain area, right? Because like the Arcana farmer, I guess you missed most of that because you probably was like bye-bye station farming when you were around.
Yeah, Arcana was even out back when I played.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
keeping up a little bit.
Yeah.
Maple, so I did hear about Arcana farmers.
Yeah, because that was like people would just suicide the character, stay there forever, get crazy rates, get all the droplets, right, to be able to afford getting arcanes. And now with the changes of arcanes, so they made arcanes cheaper to get, they made droplets more common, they added droplets to more areas, they added more bosses into the game. They all dropped the arcane gear. The arcane gear for all the bosses drop rate went up. Like, so all of those things combined made Arcane just way more accessible. And then on top of that, they had event stores where you can buy a lot of droplets. The upcoming winter event is going to have a total of 900 droplets in it.
Oh, nice.
So that's, yeah, oh, nice. Basically means that by, I don't know how many you're going to get before then, but it's going to be an opportunity. If you end up having enough money to buy them all out, you could get like full Arcane on 2 characters, essentially.
Wow.
Is what that turns out to be. Or, you know, 1 character with backups so that you can even push beyond 17 with very little risk. Like, even up to 19 or something, there's only a very low chance of booming. The main obstacle there is just money. It's very expensive. The other thing is that after the winter event, droplets in KMS have just been made, in Reboot at least, permanently purchasable for 50 mil each. So they're just just in the regular, like, Hennessy's Leafer store, you could just buy droplets there at all times. So with that in prospect, that should put into perspective what we do, right? So weapon-wise, we just stick to this one, and then you just slowly work towards Arcana, as long as you don't really need any increased damage anywhere, which you probably won't, because we're just going to push a little bit further on the other stuff that you're going to keep, even past or into an Arcane Umbra switch. When it comes to Abzo, that stuff basically just goes to 17, gets OK potential, OK flames, and then just stays there until it switches to Arcane. And the stuff that you push way further on is going to be all the accessories, and so Star Force wise is specifically going to be CRA, right? You can get backups there way more easily. So that's going to go way higher Star Force wise, and not as much potential wise because of the amount of junk lines in Legendary. Makes it hard to cube for good stats, but you probably noticed that already. Trying to get stats on these guys. So you don't really push, you know, flame score wise, you can aim decently high. Like, your top is really nice. The hat is decent. The pants are pretty close as well. Those are already at a decent rise, decent point. But once the other stuff is all 17, you definitely want to push beyond 17 on the CRA first. Gives you a little bit of time to mine backups for now. And then once the CRA is like at 21 and stuff, then you basically look towards the accessories and look at, okay, how many backups do I have? And then you go like the road of least resistance to where you have the most backups. So that gives you time to build up the Narrows. That gives you time to build up Gollux coins. It gives you time to get extra Princess, the Kana treasure rings, right, from clearing Princess No weekly.
Yep.
Because those drop there. Gives you time to build up primals and drops to make meisters if necessary, etc., etc. And then wherever you have the most leeway, then that's where you push the first, you know, until they break, which eventually happens.
They will, yeah, exactly.
And then if you have enough dominators, you know, you flame and you transpose at 16 stars, and then you have the Sweetwater, etc. So you go by where the RNG lets you. In the short term, we can see if we have some short-term things. So WSE is in order. So in the short term, like the drop rate and the meso stuff is gonna be not as important for you. That's mostly important if you're not relying on a Kana whatsoever, right? And you're mainly just getting all of your income from your main character. Then I would push pretty hard on that. For now, it's probably better for you if you really want that flexibility of the Kana, and totem-wise, you're still already capping out anyway. I would prioritize more just building out the Kana further and getting your full drop and meso combination there.
I have full meso drop on my Lumi, so.
Oh yeah, okay, the one's already yeah. Well, that makes the whole thing a whole lot more simple as well. Like Star Force wise, I wouldn't work on that at all. Just to confirm that, I don't think there's any need to like go up to 15 or go up to 17. You have a bunch of int lines and all this stuff as well, so there shouldn't be too much damage loss. Where you want your damage to come from is going to be from the arcane power. We shortly go over that. You're aware of all the dailies that are in the game now?
Yeah. The only one I don't do is
right?
Spirit Savior, because it's annoying on Luminous. Although I should probably learn it and just get at it because it's worth. But
yeah, since you don't have the buff duration inner ability, that hurts you a little bit in the hyper skill activity, right? Because what I understand is people go very, very close to equilibrium, go in, trigger equilibrium, hop around a bunch, trigger the other guy, get the 10k, and then just get the fuck out, and then re-prep equilibrium, and then just rinse and repeat. It is 10 symbols a day, which is very nice. But once you have, the good thing is you have all the areas completed, right? So you only need one 10k run, and then you can auto-complete the other as well. So it's a pretty short suffering. It should be like 2 minutes a day of suffering for 10 symbols.
Yeah.
I think that's worth it.
Yeah, I should probably do it.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I mean, rope lift does also allow you to get up to places, even if your equilibrium is off. But yeah, it doesn't feel too great.
Yeah.
The increased response time though of the regular teleport now does give you pretty decent horizontal mobility though. Just, you know, arrow key, teleport, hold down still moves you pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's mainly like getting through the tree vines and being stuck on the tree vines and the weird down jumps and all that stuff.
Yeah, I only tried it like 2 times, and there's just so much to do right now because there's just like a lot of like catch up, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So I just been putting it off, but yeah, I'll definitely learn it because I mean I like stuff like that anyway. Just it's fun to learn eventually and then get good at it, so it's fine. I'll do it eventually. Just I haven't yet.
Yeah, it'll with enough practice it becomes a formality. For most people it's a little bit annoying to build up by itself because it's not an arcane power room, so it can take a little bit longer to kill those guys, and then the spirit can catch up to you because you're not getting that bonus damage. But for Luminous it's definitely the mobility that holds you back. But yeah, so the two dailies in all the areas. We have the 2 extra dailies. KMS wise, there's an extra daily in Morass and Asphera somewhere between now and the next 6 months. Should be part of the winter update, I think. And they also doubled the base daily droplets from Lekaline, the kill and gather one. I was going from 4 to 8, so because the base in Lekaline is really bad because it takes quite a while in Reboot to grow the tower, and you can only get 4 base and then 1 from the NPCs. That's like 5 a day. That's not really great. So
yeah,
puts it right up there.
I didn't even know about Dream Defender at first when I came back, and I was like, what? Why is my Lekaline so like low? And then I was doing Dream Defender once I figured it out. And then also the NPCs that you talk to the left. I didn't know about that either. It's like, what are these guys talking about? And then
yeah. Where they're like, you still have runs to do. Oh shit, never mind. Did you do the Reverse City and Yum Yum Island pre-quests?
Yeah, I did that finally. I didn't know that they give extra stuff, and then I found out, so I did that.
Okay. Yeah, just making sure, because that I would put that as pretty high level as value, just because of, you know, the stat, of course, is insane. Plus the like once you're maxed out, it's 13k stat, just not for free, but like you're getting it if you log in every day. Then eventually you get that, and just the final damage on the arcane power is immense. But the main thing is because it takes a lot of pressure off of your other equips and stuff, so you don't have to overinvest there, and it's still stat, so it still carries over. If you go into areas where you don't need the arcane power, it still carries over there and helps you with the bossing a lot.
Yep. Yeah, I don't mind doing the dailies. I think they're okay.
Yep.
The only one I don't like is the lady wants me to kill the cats. I don't like that one. I wish I could kill the lady instead.
Wait, the lady wants to kill the cats? Wait, what?
Yeah, she wants the jewel dust from the cats or something. Some bougie lady wants me to get her jewel dust back because the cat stole it in Morass.
Oh, wait, which one wants you to do that? Is it just like
it's
woman?
Her name is Lady.
Oh, Lady. Okay, yeah.
Some bougie lady. I don't like her. To the right.
She just called. Oh yeah, Lady. Yeah, there's Lady, Woman, Man. It's like these NPCs are really inspired. Yeah. Go kill your own cats.
Morass is. I hate Morass. Every map is like 12 screens long and have 3 mobs in it.
Yeah. It's especially the true fat ones, right?
Yeah, I always reroll that one if I get it.
Yep. And then you get memory glass, and you're like, "Fuck, I should have kept it." Okay. So short-term, mid-term, long-term for equips. We got so that takes care of some of the stuff, and you know about flames as well. You know about the progression grid.
Yes, I have that bookmarked as well.
Yeah, because that also had the IED in it, right? So like, but that also looks at the flame scores and everything, so you can double check if you're way off or if you're pretty close to where you want to be. Some stuff. Yeah, so the solid has 3-line intellect, so that one's gonna stay. I'm just gonna double check through everything because we have to go over what we do set bonus wise. So if you're gonna stay with the weapon for a while, typically the min max would be to get the cape and the hat to complete the set bonus, the Abzo set bonus. In the case of the hat, that would mean that you can postpone the 21 starring of the CRA hat for a while longer until you're switching to full arcane. So that is like a alleviation in the short term. Technically, what you could do is you could go for the lucky hat, for like one of the Chaos Root Abyss hats. That way it could count for both CRA and for Abzo.
I don't even know what that is. What is that?
So there's very few of these items, but they're called lucky items in the game.
Okay.
When you kill CRA, usually those hats are the shitty ones, but sometimes there's a Chaos hat, and that one is considered a lucky hat. What a lucky item does is it looks at all of the sets of equips that exist that have that type of item in it. And if you, of any of those sets, you already have 3 other pieces equipped, and this piece would be number 4 or higher, then it counts for the set bonus. So essentially, if you would go for shoe, cape, glove, shoulder, Abzo, and you would go for weapon, top, bottom, CRA, then the lucky hat, since both CRA and Abzo have a hat in the set, it would count for number 6 for Abzo, and would count for number 4 for CRA, and giving you both of the set bonuses. Now, it doesn't have flame advantage, and you would have to like safeguard it and everything, so it's not like ideal in that situation, but it does give you both of the set bonuses, so it would give you 60% boss damage.
Okay.
But low drop chance, CRA only, right? So only 4 chances a week. If you do kill those guys and you kill them with drop rate, there is a chance. Most likely you're not getting it. But again, so either way, you want to transition into the Abzo cape. It's not going to feel great immediately because, of course, the base stats of Tyrant are way better. And it's only once you hit 17 and a decent flame and decent potential. And then you have to still trust the system for the set bonus to give you the damage. And the raw stats of the Tyrant cape are not going to go through. Yeah, they have to replace 171 stat, 30 attack. Even at 17, it might be like a flat loss, but the set bonus is what's going to carry over. So that gives you some time, because really until you're pumping everything to 17, it's still not like a huge thing. So if you get a Chaos hat before then, you could opt to go for the Chaos hat. If you don't get a Chaos hat before then, probably just go for the Abzo hat, and then keep the CRA hat on the side until you switch to Arcane.
Weapon.
Well, until full arcane. If you switch arcane weapon, you typically still keep the hat for the set bonus.
Oh, true, yeah.
You could, what some people do is that when they do work on Star Force and you go for 21 CRA, you could switch to the CRA hat for mobbing and then switch back to the Abzo hat for bossing to like min-max on a set bonus. That's the thing you can do.
Right.
It's kind of up to you, of course. But yeah, the cape is like the short term, the thing to work on. But again, until you get both pieces in, the cape is probably going to be a downgrade. So, you know, work towards getting it, but not necessarily like you have to equip it tomorrow or something like that.
Right.
You have the set bonus. The earring is fine. Is eventually going to go for full damage, but we're not there yet. That's all like stuff. Yeah. So you're mostly just going to be safeguarding all the stuff that's important. You know about Golex, all the changes, the shop, the prices, the repurchase.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a bunch of the old coins that I transfer 100 of each week.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, that's just building up over time, right? So the main thing is you're going up to 17, safeguarding, and then you keep legendary 2-line at best, and then you go for the fodder at level 140, 5, 10, 15, high Star Force, typically 21, and then transfer over into the Superior. Either keep 20 Superior if you're good with that, or try to tap it to 21 if you want that, and then redo the potential, right? Because only up to Epic transfers with the Transfer Hammer.
Right.
So since you're going over that, you tend to, not push Star Force beyond 17 and not push potential beyond where you have it. That's something you do after the transfer, and you mainly save resources for the fodder. So for earrings, you want to make sure you save reinforced earrings from the drops. For belts, typically you hold on to the ping bean belts. Those are the easiest to stock up on. So the reinforced you could get rid of, or if you already have a bunch of reinforced, you can get rid of the ping beans, whichever ones you want to keep.
Yep.
For the cape, since that's a longer term process, you can keep Chaos Sakum capes and just, you know, use those as fodder to transfer into the Abzo, so you don't have to safeguard the Abzo. That saves you a lot of money, or you don't have to like get a bunch of weeklies done for Abzo, because that's very annoying.
Yep.
Cup-wise, typically just have a cup on the side and throw in some spare flames if you don't have anything else to flame at the time. If you get lucky, you switch out. That's how you look at the cup typically. It's already 80 for now, so there's not... Yeah, it's a pretty low chance to improve that anyway. Exorcist badge, Star Forcing past 15 does not give magic attack, so it's a very low priority for Star Forcing. But conversely, very high priority for potentialing. If you're ever trying to specifically go for 2.5 lines or 3 lines on items, then metal... the badge is the number 1, has the lowest junk line, so will be the cheapest to get gains on. Something to keep in mind. Again, not something I advise you to do right now, but just to keep in the back of your head. Accessory-wise, pendant, eye face. Yeah, it's all good shit. That second pendant, that's going to probably eventually be repurposed as Dropper Mezzo. Most likely, since it's already legendary, but until then, you know, you're looking for Dominators, looking for good flames, 16-star transpose. Commercy-wise, you're familiar. Do you have your boat leveled up?
It's level 11, I think, right now, and I've been doing it.
10 is max, so that's not true.
What'd you say?
10 is max, so
probably
not
then
level
it's
11.
9 probably. I thought 12 was max.
Oh yeah, no. So is it the cargo skiff or is it the sailboat?
Wait, let me go look. Boat vessel. It's level 9 sailboat.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's very close to the Dreadnought, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, once you have Dreadnought, you just spam Dolce and just start swimming in Dinero, so you should be fine there. Then you just build major amount of backups. That'll basically allow you to not have to safeguard, and then you get a lot of value out of the dailies paying off for you and having that safety net until you eventually blow up a bunch and then have to safeguard anyway. But then that's usually when you just stop and you go do other accessories, or you hold on to your money and wait for the next event.
Right.
You're familiar with the Papulatus mark and transposing with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that's kind of a Hail Mary, so typically you still go to 17, maybe even to 21 on the monocle, and then maybe even get an eye patch from like Hard Damien before you even see a Pap mark. That's all possible. So don't let the possibility of the Pap mark like completely control upgrading, but it does mean that monocle is probably a lower priority than some of the other accessories, depending on how many backups you have there.
Okay.
Pendant-wise, it's going to be just the same as the other stuff, right? So typically for all of the superior stuff and all of the Abzo stuff, depending on your situation, so for you, for some of the Abzo, it's different. It's like, either if you already have it, it's already Star Force, you just safeguard it up to 17. If you don't have it yet, you fodder stuff up to... probably during a 5, 10, 15, you like fodder it up to 16, transfer it back to 16, and then just safeguard the last SAR. It's typically how you do that. And then that's for like the midterm, and then for the long term is make sure the potential isn't too high. Look for fodder 21, transfer over, either keep it at 20 or redo it to, or get it to 21, right? That's for like all the superior stuff. So for the pendant, it would be extra dominators. So that's why the dominator is a little bit unfortunate, but you need a lot of dominators, right? You need short term, you need one to transpose. You need long term, you probably want to hold one for drop rate gear. Most people, you don't, because you already have like legendary pendants, but that's what most people want. And then for long term, you want even more of them to be able to fodder them to transfer Emmer into the high Star Force, into a superior. So that's why it has so many uses. So that's why you just, normal arc is like an very important daily for the same reason. Yeah, not to like pour too much salt into the open wound of getting rid of it, but just to emphasize the value there. With that all, and then ring wise, you have you build around the strength that you have. Eventually the the event rings will phase out, but that's mainly once you go past 17, right? Even up to 17, event rings are pretty much equivalent to 17-star rings. So there's not really any high pressure there to save them, which is good, which means you could just push far on star forcing, and you basically only have to stop once you succeed in getting the amount of stars that you want, and then you switch over. And then even just switching over will probably only be like a small loss in stats without working on the potential, and then working on the potential will be like a raw benefit on top of that. So until you get a bunch of kind of treasures back up, until you can make a bunch of Meisters, until you can afford the reinforced and all that stuff, there's no need to switch over. So you can push a bit harder on the Star Force there before you switch. But these again, yeah, you want to safeguard them. You know, safeguard up to 30% up to 15, then later 5 to 15 up to 17, and then just hold them there for a while. So for the superior, the fodder that you have is either the kind of treasure or the Meister, and they'll just depend on how lucky you get with their predecessors, right? If you do get a high star Meister already, but you still have primals, then you don't have many kind of treasures, then you want to make extra Meisters to transfer over. If the inverse is your situation, then you just do it the other way around. Again, that's where you kind of let the RNG decide where you put the pressure. And again, like, yeah, this one has 2 line, but it's stuck on 24, so that's perfect for now. And that's also not the end of the world if you have to roll over it eventually. Yeah. For reinforced, you have to make extra because you sadly can't roll the solid into it, right? Because solid only goes up to 20. It technically does mean it that you can completely risk-free go for 19 all the rings if you want to, right? You can do a 20 solids and transfer in, but yeah, that's because solid is pretty cheap to buy backups for if you want to do that. But eventually, if you push very far, you'll go out of the solid as well. Even at a 20 star, it won't cut it anymore.
Yeah, but I saw people say it's like Kana and Meister are the.
Yeah, Kana Meister reinforced superior is typically where people go. Yeah. Oz rings are very big. Those sometimes take a spot. Yeah. And then there's the Gloom ring, and there's the Glona's heart. There's some exceptions there, but those are pretty difficult to get good rings of. So, Abzo already went over. I think, right? Abzo's pretty clear on what to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with the cape, I get fodder for it. I have some of the capes from the Madman Renmaru.
Yep, that one works as well. Yep.
And I can use fodder for that. And for the pieces I have right now, I should probably just safeguard, or maybe the shoulder, since it's only unique. I could just like transfer hammer a shoulder, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that's an option. Yeah. And since it's 11.
Because getting to unique is not super expensive. I was like looking at the
that's true.
Average costs, and it's kind of like a wash whether it's worth it to safeguard up to 17 and redo the legendary or the thing, even if it's legendary. Or that's generally, I was seeing it was generally more beneficial to just safeguard. But since it's the unique one, I think
unique would probably be more probably cheaper to transfer over. And then for legendary, I'd probably just safeguard it up.
Okay, sounds good.
It could just be just the hassle if you're unlucky with the legendary and you end up spending like a bill plus to just get the potential back. That's a huge pain in the ass. So Ray went over, WC went over. So I would just go like into 17 on the weapon and just work on the arcane afterwards. The emblem, you're not going to touch that until like CRA is 21 and everything is 2.5 lines of stat. So that's like way beyond. For the weapon, for the secondary weapon, I guess like eventually if you get enough IED, if your Legion is big enough and you get the block of Legion in your block of ID in your Legion filled, you probably not need the ID anymore. But even then, you probably just want to have like a second, like another Princess No on the side that you like slowly cube with spare Meisters.
That's what I was doing. I was just getting it up.
Yeah,
it's still rare, but
and then maybe if you do roll 2 lines magic attack and something whatever on the 3rd line, you can use it for mobbing if you need extra damage.
Yep.
If you don't, then you can keep rolling either triple magic attack or double magic on boss, something like that. And then the hyper stats just match whatever you have going on with everything, but I guess we talked about that in the beginning already, right? Okay. Kind of doing it hyper speed because we got the Varys Hill run soon. I'm wondering if there's any... yeah, like Heart, you don't have anything going on.
Yeah, I missed all the Heart events.
Yeah, I mean, Fairy Heart or Wondroid Heart, that's the only thing you really need to aim for. If you hear those, then you jump. If they're not that, you just ignore pretty much.
I had the Goo Heart for 3 int.
Yes, actually. Amazing. And like what is it, 3 IED or something?
I don't even know. I thought it was 3 int, but
yeah, it has like some temp stats that are pretty garbage. Yeah, we haven't had one of those totem events in a while. I don't know how your totems are doing.
I'm using the U Garden ones, and I have backups already for the U Garden ones. I don't really mind getting the incense burner, because when there's like 5 days left, I'll just do like 15 minutes trying to get it, and then usually it'll drop. So
okay,
I don't know. Seems okay.
Yep.
But ideally, I don't want those because they're annoying that they expire. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've gone like we had a dry spell on the Dark Lord's totems, so
yeah.
Until they announce that, it's either U Garden or what's the other one? Afterlands is the other option.
I played during Dark Lords of Darkness before, but I wasn't playing I was super casual, so I only got like some bad totems. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not always... It's one of those things where that's kind of like the min-maxy thing, right? It's not super important to press super hard there. But it is something to keep in mind that... well, yeah, once all the other stuff goes further, you'll eventually... it'll automatically be something that you're looking forward to. Because all the other stuff, you're like, okay, this upgrade here is billions and billions and billions, so...
Right, yeah.
Makes more sense to look for something that is not quite as much resistance to wanting to get stronger.
Yep. That's pretty much how I do Maple in general, just what's the least amount of effort for the most gain, and then it's like a carousel or a roulette or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm trying to find where the... Yeah, I'm just gonna put this one in, fuck it. Yeah, any equip where you're still wondering?
I don't think so.
Well, no, sir.
I guess on my Kana, I was just using like the boss set entirely, and then just forgoing the Galax because I don't need the ID and stuff since I'm just farming on it. Seems fine to do, I guess. I think, right? I don't even know. Do you know how much stat I need for like farming Arcana? Or if there's any, I know there's like kind of a bad metric, but
yeah, I think if you have max nodes, I think people still aim for like 16k stat. I think.
Okay.
15 or 16, I believe, with the level and the nodes, and I think, yeah. That's where I had it. I don't know, chat, how strong do you need to be to farm an Arcana as a Kana? I think with max boost nodes, it's something like 14, 15, 16, around there, I think. But,
okay.
Yeah,
that seems
depends on how big your Legion is and all of that stuff, yeah.
Right, yeah.
13 Lacaline, 17 Arcana, 13 to 14, like 12. That's a big discrepancy with 17. 13, 14. Yeah, okay, so like maybe a little bit lower than what I thought, but like around there. Not too crazy.
Yep. Okay. Sounds good. So yeah, I don't have any questions on equips, I don't think.
Okay. Anything else that you had maybe written down or anything that comes to mind?
Wait, I should have written stuff down. I forgot, but I know the traits was one question I had, and the other one, I think
was familiars, maybe, right? Because we.
Oh yeah, familiars. And then, I mean, the other question was just what to do, like, in terms of my Fafnir weapon and stuff, but we covered that. So I think
with the Abzo set and everything.
Yeah.
Well, if anything else comes to mind, just message me on Discord. I'll upload it on YouTube, so you can also check it back there. And then maybe when you rewatch that, you'll come, like, 1 or 2 questions will immediately, like, come rushing back. And, you know, I stream a lot. I'm always live, and there's always useful people in the chat, so you can always just pop in and ask there, and then we'll just get to it.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Well, best of luck on everything, and I hope the Lucid trials get better and better, and, you know, hope you don't mind getting overtaken by your friend, the kind of...
Yeah,
seems like you've already like given up that that's going to be a reality real soon.
Yeah, well, I gotta get my own kana, and then it's you know, fine.
Then it's fair game again.
Exactly.
Battle is on. Yeah.
Oh, and you mentioned, this is completely not related to Maple, but yesterday during 2 times you mentioned something about people saying EDT or EST, and that was the first time that I've ever heard anyone make the distinction. I didn't even know. Somehow I'm 30 years old, and I think maybe it's just American education system or what, but yeah, I thought that was funny. I never
if everyone
actually,
just always says it, then doesn't
Yeah, exactly.
you just don't even think about it.
Yep. I think in real life I always just say Eastern. Like I don't even say EST or EDT, but
yeah, you just say Eastern time, or East Coast time, West Coast time,
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
But I was thankful for you educating me.
I guess it just implied American. Like ET and PT, I think, like Eastern time, Pacific time, and then whatever everyone uses. I think there's like one state on the East and one state on the West who don't switch, and then for them, they're probably pretty particular with it that you have to also be specific, because otherwise, it depends on your job as well. If you travel out of state a lot, it's important that you get it right. Otherwise, you like show up an hour late or early to meetings.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you stay within your state and everyone just stays in the same, it doesn't really matter. So you don't even stop to think that that's a thing. But if you're in a boss party and people are all over the world, it's important that you show up at the same time. So that's why we use UTC typically. That's the standard time in winter for the UK, and that's like the server time for MapleStory.
Right.
So that's
Maple is opening my eyes to time zones. They were just completely irrelevant to me before. So.
Yeah, you're like the Aladdin on the magic carpet ride. Like, I can open your eyes. Yeah.
I'm learning so much.
Yeah. Well, you're very welcome. Yeah, but for making these sessions, I don't think it was with you, but it was with someone else. Trying to figure out the time zones, and then
I know I told you EST.
Oh yeah, you said EST as well. Yeah, I didn't reply to you, but yeah, someone else said like I'm in PST, and I'm like, you're sure you're in PST? And they're like, yeah, I am. Okay, so it's 10 p.m. for you right now. And they're like, no, it's 9. They're like, okay, so you're in PDT then.
PDT,
But it's best to just say like UTC, what time UTC, you know. That makes it easiest. All right, good luck, and yeah, I'll see you on the other side with all the pros and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, see you around.
Yep.
Right.
Thanks.
Bye. Yes, you're welcome. Bye. All right, cool. Glad we got that one covered. So, as always, remember to leave a comment if you want to win a free progression session with me. If you enjoyed this and you would like one as well, we're only 4 days away of me drawing the 2 winners who get a free session for September, so you can still squeeze into that little giveaway. Scardor, people have other bosses too. I don't want to be rude. We need to start. Yeah, I know, and I also don't want to be rude, but I still need to make a living, and these are paid sessions, so these have priority. So if you guys want to win in the giveaway, make sure that you leave a comment, and if you guys that states that you want to win, okay, I'm not gonna just draw from any kind of random comment. I want someone who really wants it to win. But hopefully the session was helpful for you guys. Hopefully you picked up a thing or two. And yeah, I'm always live on Twitch, so come and find me if you want to be part of the live action. And you can find a lot of resources in the description of the video. All of the commands that we go over, you can find them in my Twitch chat. If you want one of these sessions, or you have data for me that helps me provide resources for the community, then or you want to join my guild, all links for that are in the description. And I'll thank you for watching and for making it all the way to the end of the video. Good job for you. Big thumbs up. And I'll see you on the next one.